Hello everyone and welcome to my October wrap-up. I'm going to be going over the 6 books I read in the month of October. And as far as my October TBR goes, I only ended up reading 3 of the 5, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm glad that I at least read some of them. And the 2 I didn't read were Fairytale and Stars Over the Neversea. And Fairytale is just really long and I've heard really mixed reviews on it, so it's just kind of intimidating. And then Stars Over the Neversea I really want to read, but it didn't feel like an October book. So I decided to put it off until I'm thinking like December, January, something like that. But as far as the books I did read, the first one is The Awakening, and this is the first book in the Zodiac Academy series by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. And in this one, we're following twin sisters, Tori and Darcy, who are summoned to a Fae Academy where they learn that they are Fae. And they're also the rarest elementals ever known, the first to harness all 4 elements. And they're also the heirs to the throne, but they don't want the throne, they just want their inheritance. But that doesn't matter to the 4 celestial heirs who were meant to get the throne before them. And these celestial heirs end up ruthlessly bullying them to try to get them to leave the academy, because if they don't graduate, then they can't get the throne. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I liked this more than I thought I would. I was expecting a 3.5 star, but I had a lot of fun with this. It was fast and bingeable. It kept me engaged and I was hooked the entire time. It had me laughing sometimes, it had me sad and anxious at other times. The pacing did feel a little strange at some points. Like at the beginning it felt kind of rushed, like they showed up and just accepted everything really easily about this new world, and that kind of just felt a little too easy for me. And then there was also, it kind of felt like this bullying maybe went on, just watching them being bullied repeatedly, maybe went on for a little bit too long, and that felt a little slow. But I did really enjoy this overall. I love seeing all the different kinds of fae and the elemental magic. We have tarot and horoscopes. I really liked seeing that in all of the different classes that we have going on at this academy. I really liked the world, seeing all of the different areas of campus. We have, each element has its own area on campus, and I liked exploring those and getting to see them. We also got to see a little bit of like a city area. I really like the twins, and I like seeing the differences between them, because when I saw it was going to be twins, I was worried it would be like 2 of the same character, but it wasn't. They definitely have differences, and I liked getting to know them better, and I actually really did like both of them. As far as the rest of the characters go, I love Geraldine. I like Diego and Sophia. I'm iffy on Orion, and I hate everyone else, but I definitely had a good time with this, and we'll be continuing on in this series. Next up is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, and this is the second book in the Shepherd King duology. And I can't really tell you anything about this second book without spoiling, but I can tell you about the first book. And in the first book, One Dark Window, we are following Elspeth, who lives in a cursed kingdom, and the curse is this mist that spreads out over time, and it causes an infection, and anyone who gets the infection ends up getting magic powers. And the king has told the kingdom that these magic powers are dangerous, and that anyone who has them is not safe to have around. So the king's destriers gather up anyone who has had it and takes them to the dungeons and gets rid of them. And our main character, Elspeth, had this as a child, but only her family knows this. And even they think she somehow just got the infection and then didn't get powers like everyone else does, but she did. She has a nightmare living in her head. And then there's also this tarot card-like magic called Providence cards, and they are super rare and valuable, but they are legal to use, so people will try to steal these for money. And one night Elspeth is stopped on her way home. She is stopped by a masked highwayman who she thinks is just trying to steal these cards for money, but it's actually the king's nephew and the captain of the destriers, and he is trying to reunite all 12 of these cards, because when they are reunited it will lift the curse. And I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I really liked it. I liked it better than the first book. I thought this one was darker and just gave me more of what I was wanting from the first book. I really liked the multi-POV in this one. The first book was only 1 POV. In this one we added 2 more, I believe, and one of them ended up being one of my favorite characters because we got more of his backstory and got to know him better, so I was really glad that we got that. There was a side romance in this, and I think I actually liked it better than the main romance, and that's partly probably because we didn't get as much of the main romance in this book. It was still there, but we definitely got more of it in the first book, but I did really still like it, and I definitely really loved our side character couple. I love the magic system in this. I love the way this fever works, the way these tarot cards work, and or Providence cards work, and I also really like how they have consequences. Like, each person who gets magic powers has a unique consequence that happens over time. These Providence cards, if used for too long, cause a consequence. Each card has its own unique consequence. And I really like seeing that this magic actually has consequences that come with it. The City of Blunder wasn't the most interesting to me. It was not super well detailed, but we did get to see more of the woods in this second book, and I did really like that. I did guess the twist in this one. Kind of like the first book, it was made pretty obvious. Like, I think it was even said at one point what the twist was, but I still had a good time with it. It was still fun. Overall, this duology is going to be 4.5 stars for me. I really loved this, and I definitely want to read some more of Rachel Gillig's work. Next up is Autumn of the Grimoire by J.L. Vampa, and this is the first book in the Sister Solstice series. And in this one, we are following Agatha, who is a witch, and her 3 sisters are also witches, and they each have a season assigned to them. And at the first day of each season, whichever sister's season it is gets the grimoire and has to do its bidding. And this time when Sister Autumn, Agatha, gets the grimoire, it tells her to go to a kingdom and marry the prince there. And she has always gotten the worst assignment. She's been the one who's had to start wars, plagues, things like that. So she is not really looking forward to this. So she gets there and meets the prince, marries him, but then she starts to find some secrets going on in this town, some not great things going on here, and gets involved and tries to help them. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. It was the perfect fall read. It has a great atmosphere. We have the gothic paranormal elements. This was a great Halloween time read. I really love our main character, Agatha. She comes across as brave and feisty while still being competent. She was really fun to read. I really like our love interest as well. He is like your typical brooding man, but he has more going on that you learn about, and I really ended up liking him and his story. The romance was good. We had good chemistry, good banter, a good slow burn, but I didn't really feel like I got enough of them in this book, and that kind of worries me because I think the later books follow different characters, so I'm afraid we won't get to see more of them, but I'm hoping that we do because I did like them. The side characters are good. They're not favorite characters or anything, but I did like them for the most part. We also get animal familiars in this, which is really fun. Each sister has her own familiar, and I liked that. The plot was exciting. It kept me invested, but it does end on kind of a big cliffhanger, so I'm excited to keep on reading this one. We get good discussions on class inequality, religion, and abuse of power. I really enjoyed this, and I'm definitely going to be continuing on in this series. I believe the next book is Winter of the Wicked, so I'm assuming I'm going to want to read that one in the winter. Next up is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, and this is the first book in the Twilight series. And in this one, we're following Bella, who moves to Forks, Washington to live with her dad. And when she gets there, she goes to Forks High School, and she meets a vampire named Edward. And then all kinds of crazy things happen. And this one I ended up giving 3.5 stars. And I won't lie, there's probably at least a whole half a star of nostalgia in there. But I can't help it. It was easy, it was fun, it was nostalgic. I feel like I've forgotten quite a bit of what went on. Like, I haven't watched the movies for a while. I have read some of this book before, I've never finished it. But I liked rereading what I've already seen and remembering some of the differences between the book and the movie. I just had a good time with it. I do like the relationship, of course, because, like I said, the nostalgia, but I won't lie, it is definitely kind of insta-love and cringy. There were also definitely some, like, absurd, cringy moments. Like, there was this moment where they were all in a Jeep, and they were, like, off-road, and there's a harness, but of course the vampires don't have to wear it, so they're, like, buckling Bella into the harness, and she's like throwing a tantrum like a 2-year-old, and I was just embarrassed for her. And then there's this description of one of them carrying Bella like a football, and I'm like, she's a 17-year-old girl, how are you carrying her like a football? But I found it kind of funny. I don't know, it was definitely kind of cringy, but I still had fun with this, and I would consider continuing on in this series, just like as palette cleansers in the future. Next up is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. And in this one, we are following Sayana, who lives in a city underneath a magical protective dome. And this dome is meant to keep out the blight and the cold winters. And she is the first ever female in the High Magistry. And the men are not happy about this. And as a joke, they assign her the janitor as her assistant, but they end up getting along really well, her and the janitor, who is named Tommel, and they work together well. And Tommel is a part of one of the indigenous tribes from outside of the dome, and he came into the city with his niece because the rest of their tribe was taken out by the blight. And within this dome, the indigenous people are not treated well at all, and we do get to see a bit of his journey with that. And we see him and Sayana learn some things about this city and try to fix some things that have been going on. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I thought this was incredible. I'm going to be thinking about this one for a long time. It had an intricate world building. It had a really intricate magic system that uses these like typewriters, and they have to type out multiple different spells that all work together, and then they have to source energy for their spell. I thought it was really cool. I really enjoyed that. We had good discussions on racism, misogyny, classism, religion. We had good questions like, what does it really mean to be a good person? I thought we got good character development in this. Sayana starts off not great. She's definitely kind of rough, and she is never fully redeemed in my opinion, but we do see her show some growth, some self-awareness, and so I liked that. We do occasionally get Tommel's POV, and I enjoyed him as well. I really liked his character. This is definitely not a romance at all, but we do get like a tiny bit. And honestly, I wish we didn't get it at all. It was so little that it didn't matter. And it really didn't make sense for either one of the characters. So I kind of wish they had just been friends and we had kept the romance out of it. We had great pacing. We had hard-hitting plot reveals and a gripping plot. I really, really enjoyed this. And this is a strong contender for my favorite book of the year. So I am definitely really glad that I read this one. It's not the type of book I would typically read, but I'm glad that I did. Lastly is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, and this is the first book in the Wicked Game series. And in this one, we're following Ophelia, who lives with her mom and her sister, and then their mom suddenly, mysteriously dies one day and leaves behind a huge debt that they don't know how they're going to pay. And then Phantasma comes to town, which is this deadly competition that has 9 trials set in a haunted mansion, and only one person can win. And then Ophelia's sister Genevieve seemingly has gone off to join this competition, so Ophelia goes after her to try to convince her to just drop out of it with her and leave. And then once Ophelia gets there, she meets Blackwell, who is a phantom, and he offers her a bargain where he will help her get through the trials, but in exchange she has to give him a decade of her life if she doesn't fulfill her end of the bargain. And I gave this one 4.5 stars. I had a really good time with this one. I loved the trials and how they worked, the setup for them. I thought they were really cool. I loved the mansion, the descriptions of it. I loved it, gave a great atmosphere. I thought the plot was really interesting. I loved the romance. We had great banter, yearning, slow burn, good chemistry. I loved Blackwell. I thought his backstory was really interesting. I really liked his character. Ophelia, I have more mixed feelings on. I did like her, but she is definitely stubborn, which can be frustrating to read. Some of the twists definitely got me, especially at the end. I really enjoyed the ending of this book. We also get some great OCD rep in this, which is always nice. And this is the perfect Halloween time book. I read this right before Halloween and on the day of Halloween, and I'm really glad that I read it when I did. I think it was the perfect time for it, and I definitely want to continue on in this series. But this is going to be the last book on this list. I hope you all enjoyed, maybe found something you want to add to your TBR. Let me know in the comments what you read this month. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one.